a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning.
All right, good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. As we continue with this morning's conversations, we are continuing to talk a bit about that T.P.P internal elections. And to have that conversation with me this morning, I have a woman who is no stranger to the Tobago public. Neither is she a stranger to politics, attorney Christlyn Moore. Good morning and thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here this morning with us. Now, you have presented yourself to be one of the candidates for the T.P.P internal elections.
Yes.
But not just any candidate. You are vying for the position of chairperson of the party.
Yes.
Now, firstly, tell us a bit about when the party was actually registered and the role that you played in that entire registration / constitutional process that the party has gone through to be where they are at this point.
All right. So part of it is historical. The registration of the party, of course, had nothing to do with me. So I'm not trying to take credit for anything there. But the party has been registered over a year now. That is a historical fact. I was asked to play a role in the drafting of the Constitution. It was a collaborative effort because constitutions are legal documents. You know, you want lawyers involved. So I lent my expertise to that. While the document was later ratified and amended in significant parts by the party membership as a whole, we did play a significant part in creating the document. And I think no document is perfect. And, you know, it will evolve as the party grows and so on. But certainly, I think the document in large part, as seen by the membership, is fit for purpose and is perhaps relevant to the party at this time. Constitutions, of course, always change.
Right. And, you know, there's no way you could come without me asking about your history as the political leader of the Tobago Forward and how that ties into your running and your candidacy here in this new party, the T.P.P.
Right. Well, it does not. It does not. You know, I, in my life, have managed a lot of hats. And all of them have come together to create the space that I'm in now and the person that I'm in now. And so I can't say that it's one particular incident or association or position that I've held that I bring to this candidacy. It is really the whole of me. So I bring 30 years of legal experience. I bring several years of management experience, bring 35 years of strategy, legal strategy, some political strategy, management of people, collaboration, cooperation. I bring all of that into the position. So my focus is the Tobago People's Party.
Right. And what do you say about those persons who say, well, this is the season for women to lead? How do you feel about that?
I think every day is a day for women to lead. I am a firm advocate of women taking their place at the table. This is not to say that women should supplant men. I'm not making that argument. But there are a lot of talented women in all spaces. And sometimes, you know, there's a shyness. And it always helps to see another sister, another mother, another aunt making a step forward. And that tends to empower the girls who look on. So I am really, really grateful for the opportunity to perhaps inspire some other young woman in some space somewhere to say, hey, you know, I could do that or something similar. So,
understood. Now, there are the persons who have been saying,
yes,
well, with Christlyn Moore at the chairperson position of the party,
yes,
it's simply old party with the new logo. What do you have to say about that?
That would be really unfortunate. You know, the organization that is the Tobago People's Party is an inclusive organization. Yes, it is a new organization. It is not version 2.0, 3.0, 4.0 of any other organization. So, and there's nothing anybody can do to take that away from this organization. So it is really mischievous to assert that because one person aspires to a role in an organization, that somehow devalues the organization. That really is unfair to the organization and the people who have worked so hard to get this organization to where it is. And it's really narrow-minded. The organization is much bigger than any one person.
Right. And you would also be going up against Assemblyman Trevor James for this position. And there is the consensus out there that too many sitting politicians in a place of management over a political party negates the ability to hold that party accountable from its members. How do you feel about that?
Right. So I can say what is my vision for this position. My vision for this position is that it is to establish a clear demarcation in the position. So this position is not in competition with any other role or function. So for example, this is a position that is administrative and management. Therefore, it does not compete with the political direction of the party, which is set by the political leader and his team. This is a position that does not impact on the day-to-day decisions of the executive council that they make for the island, the forward thrust of their vision. So it does not conflict with the executive council. This is a position that is internal, that is structural to the party, that is administrative and management. So I feel the more energy you have to put into a management position, the better it is for you, right? So it doesn't matter where else you are. The question is, how much energy do you have to put into this position, into what is required? And is that energy going to be seen as conflicting with any other duty that you have, whether it is internal to the THA, whether it is your job, whether it is your marriage, whatever it is. Once you can establish that, one, you have the energy, two, you have the vision, three, you have the time, and four, that there is no conflict that would, appearance of conflict. Now, it might not be a real conflict, but the appearance of a conflict is distracting. So my vision is to create a space where there is no appearance of a conflict.
So do you think that with Trevor James possibly being the chairperson, that it would simply be a repeat or a duplication of the executive council functioning within the party when you have the political leader being a sitting politician, the chairman being a sitting politician, you have your secretaries, your deputy political leaders, as well as your treasurers being sitting politicians? How does that create a clear line of demarcation between what happens at the party level as compared to what is happening at the executive council level?
Now, I cannot answer that because I cannot speak for anybody. I cannot speak for Assemblyman James, and certainly it would be impertinent to do so. Again, what I can say is I have a vision. And my vision is to create a management structure, or to support, not create, but support a management structure that at this early stage of the party development does not create a distraction by appearing to conflict. Now, we have to remember as well, we are a small island. And if we, and at some point you will have people with several roles, and there's nothing wrong with that. But where it can be avoided, particularly early on in the development of an organization, my personal view is that it should be avoided. There may come a time that it cannot be avoided, or maybe it should not be avoided now, but that is not my view. My view is that at this early stage, it ought to be avoided in order to build a stronger organization.
Right. And Natasha Second, she is also one of your competitors for that position of chairman of the party. Now, she would have been extremely instrumental in the party's registration We saw that she was there at the launch. She would have chaired those meetings, some of those strategic discussions that the party would have had publicly. We saw her there at the forefront, kind of being the face of the party. And there was that expectation that Natasha II was going to be the party chair. How do you respond to those persons who said after so much work that she would have put in to get the party to where it is at, she should have gone unopposed?
Well, I think Natasha is a beautiful, beautiful person. I've known Natasha for most of my adult life and some of my not so adult life. We attended bishops together. I was much older. So Natasha is a lovely, lovely person. People have to decide for themselves what is the vision for this position. I do not know anybody else's vision for this position. So I cannot speak to that. I think it would be improper. But what I can say is that at this time in the party's development, people ought to consider how do they want the chairmanship to present? What are their expectations? Can these expectations be met by any one or all of the candidates? What are the timelines for their expectations? And whether or not any particular candidate, either collectively or together or alone, can meet these expectations. At the end of the day, choosing one person against another for any position does not reflect on the person that is not chosen at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, it is for all of us to find a way to contribute. So we're all in the same place, going in the same direction, perhaps with different views as to how we can get there. So I think the population of Tobago and the population of the T.P.P, I think they have a clear idea of how they want this position to present. And I think they have a clear idea as to who can get them there. And I think that's fair.
All right. And what would you like to do differently in this role as chairman of the party compared to some of the stuff that you would have done while you were political leader of the Tobago Forward?
So again, this is not a comparator. This is chalk and cheese. So I am going to focus not about where I was, because that is a matter of experience. I will want to focus on where I am. Mm-hmm. In my view, this is, as the Constitution says, this is an administrative and management position, right? So we are looking at how we can influence the management of this organization and how can we effectively move the general administration of the organization. This is not a front room position. This is back of house. This is hard work, shoulder to the wheel. Nobody sees your face, so that when the organization presents, it presents as a well-oiled moving machine. That's what this is. So in my view, a successful management of this position will look like, in the first perhaps 10 to 20 days or so, a needs analysis, a SWOT analysis, a meeting with all team leaders, an assessment of where you are, across the spectrum, a gap-filling exercise, a review of the party structure, resources, assessment of financial health. It will, evaluate our effective use of communication channels, strengthen those. This is administration, pure administration. It is not politics. It is not island governance. It is administration and management, and those are the skills that are going to be called to bear. How do you run the organization, the company that is called the PDP, so that that company can manifest in the best way and that its outcome can be optimal for the political space and for the ultimate leadership space.
All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. This is one of the candidates for the T.P.P. internal elections, Miss Christlyn Moore. Thank you so much for giving us your time this morning.
Thank you
We know
very
it's
much.
very rare that you would do interviews, so
Very
we're glad
rare.
that you decided to come on to Tobago Updates this morning. All right, guys, we're going to take a brief break right here, and we'll see you really soon after this break.